All right, I think we're on.
Oh, hey guys. All right, headlines. We're just getting to the headlines.
All right, can I just apologize to
Is it
LeBron
on? Or is
James?
it? It's the intro again, no?
No, that's the old link. I'd just like to publicly apologize to LeBron James. I will never look to do that again. That's obviously what happened. It might have nothing to do with LeBron. It was to do with Emmanuel.
What?
Okay.
You know, you sound like a sped up clip.
Serious?
Yeah.
I apologize to LeBron. That's
Okay.
fair enough.
Yeah, but I heard that bit. There's the second part where you said something about
It had
email.
nothing to do with LeBron. It had nothing to do with LeBron. It was about Emmanuel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see if the link lasts and LeBron's accepted your apology. Right, should we get into our headlines?
do
I'm
it.
even scared for you to press the music.
No, I've already pressed it.
Okay, all right.
Cool. All right, so the first headline. It's about Diane Abbott and some potential infighting at Labour. Well, not at Labour, but in the Labour Party. Anyway, so it seems like there's a disagreement within the Labour Party over Sir Keir Starmer's plans to reform the NHS. Diane Abbott, who's a Labour MP for Hackney, North and Stoke Newington, tweeted, Keir Starmer has joined the right in calling for the reform of the NHS, and we all know what that means. She was quickly criticised by former Culture Secretary Ben Bradshaw, who's the MP for Exeter, who quickly defended Starmer by saying no. He's leading the cause, Diane, just as the Labour government between 1997 and 2010 reformed the NHS and delivered the shortest waiting times and the highest patient and staff satisfaction in the NHS's history. Sir Keir's argument is that the NHS needs reform to survive. He wants to examine all sorts of reform for the health service, as well as boosting funding to train thousands more nurses and doctors. He believes the NHS should always be free at the point of use and should remain a public service. However, he wants to make use of the private sector too. This could cut waiting lists of more than 7 million people. The issue is that the NHS was designed for a time when the average life expectancy was 67, providing acute care for those acute illnesses. Now people are living for longer with chronic disease, putting a strain on the service. It appears a totally free NHS is no longer sustainable. And the next headline, and this is going to be basically the basis of our topic of the day, right? So I want you guys to really take this in. And this is about a trigger warning here, a Scottish woman who's married a rapist. So this guy is a convicted rapist. He's in prison right now in America. But yeah, I'll get into it. So a Scottish woman who married a rapist, serving 20 years in a US prison, said he's done so much to better himself, right? Gemma and Lionel Vasquez got married on December 29th last year, despite living more than 3,500 miles apart and Vasquez being incarcerated. Gemma, who's from Glasgow, was not put off by her new husband's 2011 rape conviction. This is what she said, I'm not marrying his past, and he was very, very young when it happened. The admin worker met Vasquez through his mum after she became Gemma's Spanish teacher in July of 2020. Gemma first emailed Vasquez in February of 2021 to hit it off, chatting on the phone for the first time 5 months later. Gemma said, this is what she said, yeah? She said she still gets butterflies every time he calls or his name pops up on a message. I'm always so super excited. You just connected straight away. You never expect your life to turn like this. I just thought I would meet a guy here in Scotland. So when Gemma heard about Vasquez's crimes, Gemma thought this was a very serious thing to be convicted of, but she went on. I asked him to tell me the whole story on the phone because that was very important to me. I felt very reassured by talking to him about it and also by his whole family. She first traveled to Virginia to visit Vasquez in April of last year, and he proposed over the phone in July, and the couple planned to get married this year, basically. But when she's gone back to go and see him now, he secretly organised for their wedding to take place when she flew over to visit again in December. Yeah. So they had a ceremony around Christmas time. They were allowed to hug, kiss, and hold hands, all that type of stuff. Right, cool.
Was in jail while this was happening?
Yeah. She's gone over to, yeah, anyway, yeah. So this is what she said, and this is kind of what I want us to think about, yeah. So she said, love doesn't wait, yeah. If you're called to marry somebody, you don't have to hang on for a big day, big dress, or big cake. We're looking to the future. I've always just taken him on how he treats me right now. It's about who he is as a person. He's a grafter. He's always studying. He's always working, and he's revising. I really didn't know how it would work out being so far away and him not free, but we just fell in love. Long story short, he's expected to be released from prison in the next 4 years because of his good behavior. So based on everything that is said here, yeah, he's a reformed guy, right? Cool. And that's the end of the headlines. So we're going to go into the topic of the day.
Yeah, let's get into
All right, people. So you heard the previous headline. Quite a bit of detail there. So hopefully you can kind of form some type of image in your mind about this scenario, yeah? But the first general question is, does everyone deserve a second chance? Or are there or should there be limits on forgiveness?
Now, what kind of Christian would I be if I sat up here? And I think everyone deserves a second chance, and forgiveness is endless. However, I will separate myself where I no longer need to forgive you because you're no longer in my life. Do you get me? That makes sense? Mm-hmm. So if you're in my life, I forgive you because if people make mistakes. However, after some time, you will no longer be in my life for you to require me to further forgive you.
Okay. Is that a situation where the person keeps doing the same wrongs, or like this is just one time?
No, like one wrong or different wrongs. Is that what you mean?
As in, like, so say this person's a habitual liar, and you have a thing about lying.
Yeah.
Then after maybe the 20th time, then you say, you know what, out of my life.
I can't lie, you wouldn't even get to 20 with me, but yeah.
Right. Or could this be something that you really hate, but they've done only once?
It really depends on the gravity of what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on the gravity of what it is.
You know what I'm saying? I think it depends.
Yeah.
In terms of second chances, depends on what they've done in it.
Yeah.
If it's something that is, something that I can't forgive, something that's, extreme, then it's one and done.
One and done, mate.
One and done.
If it take me forever to get back from this.
Yeah, if it's something small, if it's something that can be changed, like change behavior and stuff like that, then they can get a few chances. But if it's something like, that you can't really come back from, then it's a one and done.
Yeah. And that's it. Sorry,
no, go.
And that's the thing, because even with that, what I can't get back from will be different from what you can't get back from. So it's you just never know. You try it and there we go.
Does it matter if it was done to somebody else and not you?
Yeah, it depends on who the person is to me as well.
Yeah.
So you don't know this person. So this is like in this person's previous relationship or 4 relationships ago, something like that.
Yeah.
It does matter.
Yeah. I can't be with a guy who was beating a woman or who's raped a woman or who's is a paedophile. Is that there's certain thing that if it's in your
Breathe for 2
You can
seconds
breathe,
before a call came in, but
if that's in your track record, certain things that I can't move past from, even though it wasn't against me.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning. You okay?
Good,
Well,
thank
good, thanks.
you.
How are
Who are
you?
you speaking to, please?
I'm all right, thanks. It's Abby calling.
Morning, Abby.
Do people deserve a second chance? Everyone, I don't think everyone does actually. Just on the basis that if we take like criminals like rapists and that sort of things, for me, that's just one of them where some people just don't deserve a second chance. And just like actual like killers, like for example, like people like Jeffrey Dahmer, like I just feel like people just really, it's very hard to just think you deserve a second chance. Like when you do things that you know consciously are really bad and you do them to I don't know how many people and people suffer from trauma from what you've done and you have to carry that for the rest of your life. I think it's just very, very hard to think you deserve a second chance. I think you deserve jail and God, and that's not up to me to give you a second chance, really.
So how do you suggest that person's life should kind of just be played out? So let me be more specific here. So let's just say this person maybe beat his girlfriend, but he was 16 years old, right? He's moved on from there. She's moved on from there. He's gone in separate ways. He's had relationships after that. He's now 26, right? But you find out about this particular thing, or he even tells you. Do you drop him straight away?
Yeah. Yeah, the way I'm dropping you. You deleted. Block.
Even if...
I just can't.
Sorry, go on, Abby.
No, carry on, sorry.
I was just going to say, like, even though, like, in his previous relationships, since then, none of this, like none of that type of behavior is show its head again?
Yeah, I just can't do it personally. I feel like maybe I'm someone that it's hard for me to forgive people, and I think I probably am. Because I think it's what Esther said as well. It's like if you're not in my life kind of thing, fair enough. But would I still forgive you? Depending on what you've done, I don't think I would, because I think it's just the trauma that you inflict on one person, and I think it's really bad. I think some people just really don't deserve forgiveness. But again, that's what I think. Maybe it's not kind of up to me to kind of, I guess, like grant forgiveness. I guess it's for got to do that, really not for me.
Yeah.
But I just really think that kind of people just don't deserve our forgiveness. And I guess, like, yeah, for me, it's like how they should spend their life is in prison, or like actually working for the society, or like for maybe like a charity or something, like helping, I guess, homeless people or that sort of things. But I just feel like they should actually work to deserve the forgiveness, and maybe not just really be in prison. Because it's like, if you take like Jeffrey Dahmer, for example, I had like watched the series and stuff, and then after like, doing like personal research and stuff, they said that he said that he didn't really regret what he was doing and stuff, but in the series they kind of portrayed it as like he became religious. And also I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of the easy thing to do. It's like, yeah, maybe you've become religious, but the rest of us, we don't forgive you. But like, maybe God does, but I personally don't. Like, the fact that you've made that many people suffer and stuff is forgivable. So I kind of feel like maybe that's for someone else to do that, like God or whatever, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
So, like, I hear you. That makes perfect sense, yeah. But with someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, yeah, that was an extreme case. He was a serial killer. He had, loads of different types of problems, right? But let's just, again, using this previous headline, right? Gemma and this guy, Leonel Vasquez, yeah. He is a rapist. He raped somebody. He was a lot younger. He's changed his life, at least according to her, according to his family and stuff like this, yeah. Would you frown on their relationship?
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah.
Sorry, go on.
No, sorry, carry on.
I was just going to say, even though, for example, he's served the time, so let's just, I think he's doing 20 years, yeah. So he's done his 20 years, he's come out, he's married this woman, for example, they've got 2 kids, he's an upright, you know what I'm saying? He's a good citizen, pays his taxes, found a job, all this other good stuff that you expect like regular citizens to do. He's done that. Would you still say to yourself, you know what, this is a toxic relationship, he doesn't deserve her, this, that, and the third?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong with that, but I just really think, yeah, no, you are no good, literally. You don't deserve happiness. Your wife should leave, and why should you have kids? How is it that, yeah, fair enough, you've done your 20 years, whatever. However, where's, like, you've made people suffer, and really that is something that person can never really forget. So it's fair enough that you've done, like, you served your crime and whatever, and now you've gone back into civilization, and that's like the point of like going to prison, isn't it? Like rehabilitating people and stuff. But like, I really feel like some people can't really be like rehabilitated if you've done really something like that, and in how can you, in the court of your mind, do that kind of stuff and think you can ever be forgiven? It's like, fair enough, you have walked the walk and gone to prison, but that really doesn't really show or prove that, like, deep down you haven't still got like these thoughts and like wanting to do this kind of stuff, really. But like, it's fair enough that, like, and like maybe you deserve a life and whatever, but I just really feel like these kind of people should really be like gone. But if it's like the case of like someone cheating, again, this is different. But firstly, if you've cheated or whatever, you would just be gone. Like, I would like, fair enough, like, we can, I guess that sometimes forgiveness is for yourself, but do you deserve a second chance? Definitely not. And I feel like maybe that's the problem with some people. They think that they can mess about and, like, come back with they can just come back with saying like, yeah, sorry, and that's just it, and like, give them a second chance, but then they'll do it again. So it's like, what is the actual point? I think sometimes it's like you can talk about, find out, and that will just be it.
Okay. Last question, yeah, and I want this question to be for everyone in the room as well, yeah. Is there anything that you think can't be forgiven that's not a crime? Besides, yeah, even including cheating, right? But again, not cheating on you. Sorry, not cheating on you. So you've heard this about him or her in a previous relationship, but it's not a crime.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, like I've got a friend, for example, she's with someone and they had a baby and stuff, and she found out when she was pregnant that he cheated on her with someone in one of them sex club, how do you call them? Can't remember like the name for it. But yeah, like they were saying like how he basically like cheated on her in like one of them sex club, and she found out by going through his phone. And she kind of like forgave him for like they obviously like co-parent or whatever now. And really that's something that I'm not even in this relationship or whatever, I'm just her friend, but I don't like him. I don't want to speak to him. I don't really want to see him. I just think like that kind of person with like that kind of morality, it's not really my problem. However, I don't really want you around me, and knowing the fact that you've treated my friend like this is just really disgusting. And I don't. She might have forgiven you, but I don't. I'm not even. He invited me to her birthday and stuff, and I was like, "Why are you organizing her birthday? Like, you've done that kind of stuff, and you treat her like this, and like now you want to organize her birthday. Like, I don't want to be a part of this, and I'm not going to be there." So I guess like, I'm that kind of person where I like my morals would prevent me from like having you around me, kind of thing. So I guess that may be in that kind of stuff, but. Yeah, some people will forgive you for like that sort of thing, maybe for themselves, which is fair enough. But I just really think that they should kind of like, yeah, I don't think we should have you around our environment so that you learn. Because how are you going to learn now? You've done this, I don't know how many times, and now you've taken it to a sex club. So,
Okay.
oh yes, that kind of things.
All right, thank you, Abby.
Thanks, Abby.
No problem. Have a good day, guys.
You
You
too,
too.
darling. Bye.
So, about you guys, is there anything that's not a crime that you feel like, I can't forgive for this?
I can't think of anything on the spot, but anything that's like, not many things are unforgivable for me, because when you don't forgive somebody, it stays in your heart, and I don't like anything that just stays in my heart. Like when something affects me, 'cause I'm a very emotional person, so I literally feel like an actual knot in my chest. I can't live like that. So there isn't much I struggle sometimes with letting things. Actually, no, I still struggle with it. I struggle with letting things go sometimes. However, over time I have to let it go. I have to make my peace with it. So I can't think of anything that's not forgivable for me, just because I think also my background as a Christian, like I know how I sin, so I can't be out here not forgiving people, but I'm asking God to forgive me. That would be wild to me. But I think anything that crosses my moral boundaries, I'm so big on just letting people go. I don't force relationships. I don't keep people where they shouldn't be. Like anybody in this world can get let go. Anybody, like nobody. You see that meme when she's like nobody above blocking that guy. Dead ass. That's how I live my life. Like even my mum, if anybody, anything that infringes on my peace of mind, you've got to go. That's how I operate. But I think when it comes to like crimes and stuff, there's just certain things that if you've been convicted for, I feel obviously you can be forgiven and you can move forward, and you may have paid your price for it legally, and also even made peace with the family and whatever. But me, I can't lay in bed every night next to somebody who did something like that. Like stuff like that, that's such a big trigger for me. Even when I watch things, how much more that being my reality, and it's just too messy and just too much for me. And I know obviously it'd be like, okay, yeah, but then how do they move on with life? There'll be someone who can forgive you. Like there's silly woman who's out here marrying him and he's out in 4 years' time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Do you mean someone else will always be able to deal with it? As for me and my household, I can't.
Even with that situation there, it's her choice to forgive him and be with him. So I don't even care if that's her decision.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone else should be bothered to why she's chosen to be with him.
Do that,
Because that's her choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything in particular, but for me, it's very subjective because it depends on the person. It depends on what they've done and why they've done it as well.
And the history of the person as well.
History, yeah. This conversation to me is so nuanced because it really just depends on it. But generally speaking, similar to Esther, I won't really, pet to cut someone off if they've betrayed my trust to a degree where, you know, I can't see any return, to be fair. So
I literally just saw a tweet. The way the algorithm works, please tell me I can find it. And oh yeah, she got the girl said, when I forgive someone, trying to rekindle a relationship with them feels so off because now I have to be guarded around you. And if I wanted to be guarded around someone, I'd go chill with my enemies. And that's just how I see it. I can't there's always a shift. Even when I've forgiven people for doing certain things and I've carried on with the relationship, like as in friendship, family, whatever it is, there's just always a shift. I can't forget what you've done. I have to be on guard now. Because do you know what it is? For me, when someone does something to me, I am now aware of what you're capable of. So while I might love you and carry on with the relationship, it will never ever be how it was when I fully trusted you because I am now aware of what you're capable of. Do you get what I mean?
But there's sometimes your like and love for that person kind of overrides the ill feeling you have in regards to what they've done to you.
Do you know what it is?
I love you so much, I can look past this and try to move on because the love is that strong.
I can move on, but do you know what's mad, Yusuf? I can never move past it. I'm always on guard. Like I have certain friendships, my friends have done certain things to me that was so hurtful to me and I love them and everything. But now the way I operate with you is different. We can never go back to how it was before because you've done something to me. I can't unless I literally, my brain was wiped of this memory, my physical body, and this is why I even said, I was having a conversation, something to do with family recently. And I was saying how even if I wanted to, for the emotional side of that's your family, that's this. I said my physical body, I feel I don't ignore my nervous system. My physical body tenses up around certain people where I'm not at peace. I can't be relaxed. I can't be I can't be relaxed. I'm tense. So even if I'm making jokes with you and we're kicking and whatever, my body is tense. It's when I leave, sometimes I don't even notice it. When I leave the person's presence, I just feel cool. I feel very relaxed. I'm like, oh, do you get what I mean? So even those things for me is difficult.
Is that truly forgiveness then?
It is. It is forgiving. But you know what it is? I'm a person where I feel like, I think you can forgive, but I can forgive, but I don't have to be a fool.
Yeah.
So do you get what I mean? So I think that it is forgiveness because it's not something that I bring up. It's not something that it's not something that when you offend me about something else, I bring up the first thing.
Yeah.
It's not that. That situation is isolated, is there, is done that. Do you get what I mean? Unless you go and do the same thing and it's relevant for me to bring that up, I wouldn't bring up, I wouldn't torment your life with that situation. So I do think it's forgiveness. However, I also think that it's smart to know what it is that someone's capable of doing. Do you get what I mean?
100%. Do you feel because obviously everyone is familiar with the phrase, "Oh, forgive and forget," and all that type of stuff, yeah? Or I guess it's been remixed to "I'll forgive you, but I can't forget" type thing, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like the whole forgetting part hinders the forgiving part? So, for example, if I don't forget this, it kind of hinders how well I am at forgiving you.
Yeah, do you know what it is? With the forgetting part, I think that with that, people have taken it literally to mean that the memory's gone.
Yeah, no one's going to forget it.
That's impossible.
I think that implies don't bring it up again.
Yes.
Don't use it against me.
Yes, that's what
We can't move forward if you keep bringing up what I've done before.
Yes.
And use it against me because no one's going to forget what, come on.
You can't. That's exactly my interpretation of it. Because it's impossible for you to actually forget. So, but I do think that, yes, if it's something that you keep bringing up and whatever, it does hinder your relationship. That's what I always say, even when we talk about romantic relationships, if something happens, you do something to your partner, they do something to you, you've got to be in a place where if you choose to stay and work through this, you won't forget. And obviously there's times where there is going to be a period where it is relevant to bring up or whatever it is. Because I do believe that the ownership is on both people to help us move forward. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it's a case where you say you forgive somebody, but you bring this up every chance, even when it's not relevant to bring it up, they didn't wash the dishes, well, that's why you were out cheating last week. If you bring up at any chance, that will definitely hinder the way you move forward and you have not forgiven them. And that's the honest truth about it. I think sometimes people are like, oh yeah, I forgive him, but I haven't forgotten. But you bring up every other minute. So because I define forgetting as not antagonizing the person with whatever it is they've done, you haven't truly forgiven them.
Everything you said, I'm agreeing with what you guys are saying. Yeah, but do you feel like as a society, sometimes we kind of judge people who can go to those extremes and say, you know what, I'm going to forgive and forget?
Yeah, we do.
And is that right?
No, I don't think it's right. I've done it before in the past when I was younger, and I'd be like, if he cheats on you, you're saying you're stupid. Da, da, da. But now understanding how life is not black and white, like things are really not black and white, and there's so much more to consider in a person. I literally was having this conversation just yesterday afternoon, and I was saying how like when you're in a situation, when you're not in a situation, it's easy for you to say this, that. When you're actually in it, there's so many other factors to it. And it was actually in relation to like cheating and whatever it was. And I was like, I used to be like, oh, like it's stupid if you stay and blah, blah, but it actually isn't, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
So I have respect for someone who would leave, like men and women who would leave their partner for cheating. I have respect for that because if that's not what they want to do, that's fine. But I also have respect for people who decide to stay and work out as well.
Yeah.
Whereby in the past I was like, no, I can't respect that. But I think that things are not, it's just not black and white. Every situation is actually case by case.
Yeah.
And you have to get to the bottom of everything and why is that happened? How is that happened? Is this something that's preventable for the future? And this is friendships and family, whatever. I think every situation is just always different.
And
that
everyone just projects, isn't it?
That's it.
Everyone thinks, oh, if I was in your situation, this is what I would do. So I'm judging you based off of what I would do in that situation.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
And based off your standards, based off your morals, but
Yeah.
we're not all the same people.
Exactly.
And I always say that what everyone can deal with is different. Like the reasons why I will leave a guy, my friend would be like, really, over that. But it means more to me than it would mean to you. But the same reason why she will leave a guy, I'll be like, oh, I would have stayed for that. Everyone's thingy is different.
Yep.
Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
That's why whenever I talk about like the cheating thing, people are like, yeah, but it's been this amount of years and this. I'm like, yeah, but the way I hold honesty, the way I hold trust, the way I hold loyalty, this may not be something I can come back from.
Yeah.
And so what's the point?
Yeah.
But he might, I don't know, insult me in public on a stage with like 1,000 people, and I might forgive that. And you'd be like, wow, but that was in front of 1,000 people.
Yep.
But the cheating, no one but me and him knew about that.
Yep.
And I left. But the 1,000 people, you're thinking, Esther, really? But again, it's about what each person can do. But I definitely do think that we defo project, and I don't think that's right.
Okay. Because like there's a condition, called hybristophilia, right? And basically, it's a recognized psychiatric condition in which a person, it's usually a woman, it's not me that's saying this, it's them, right? Experiences a strong sexual desire for a man known for crimes that society considers repulsive.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Women love a bad boy.
Yeah. That's basically what it is.
It's when you chopped enough breakfast that you start to realize the good boys is where it's at.
Funny enough, it's also known as the Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. So it kind of goes into that. But I mentioned all that, just to say, do you feel like there's certain crimes, that as society we say, you know what, this is too much for us, this and the third, that really are kind of just separated as crimes to prevent us from venturing into certain things? I don't want to go obviously extreme to certain. Some things are just.
Wait, I was gonna say the people currently championing for paedophilia to be a type.
Yeah,
they're gonna say that
we don't need those type of animals around.
I think like something like fraud.
Okay.
When you think about it, obviously like you've got people that who do like $1 billion fraud and whatever. Cool, they don't matter. But when you think of like people who are like lower class fraud, people can't get jobs. People are poor. They have no way of feeding their family, whatever. They're in an act of desperation and they commit a crime where they steal. Do you get what I mean?
Hold on. What was your question? 'Cause I want to
Trying to see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, where are you coming from? So what's the question again?
It was more so about, do you feel like there's some things that we consider crimes as society, that really we just kind of call it crimes to kind of just maybe keep society going in a particular way?
I feel like the man has called it crime.
And your answer was fraud.
Yeah, because
fraud is a crime.
No, but fraud.
But thing is, what if they stole from you? How are you going to feel then?
Oh no. Off of the head.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but okay, but what I'm saying is like, okay,
It's
maybe
not
not fraud, but like, I mean like stealing.
Yeah,
I don't believe people who shoplift like food in shops here, I don't feel like they should be jailed. I think that's out of order. If someone's stealing bread, they're hungry. They're stealing sandwiches. They're hungry. Do you get what I mean? So for me, I feel like that's one of the things where, because really and truly, that kind of situation, I feel there should be a case where we sit down and ask, why did you steal the bread? Because I'm hungry, bitch. Oh, crap, I'm swearing again.
I think
because I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like with that, they've tagged as your thief. No, they're poor and they're desperate. So I feel like with that kind of situation, that's deemed a crime. It is a crime because again, we've been conditioned to believe it's a crime. It is a crime. However, we need to look at the reason behind this.
Yeah.
Like when I worked in supermarkets and I saw people stealing like food, I'm looking away. They have kids they can't feed. And you're telling me that I should report them. You're going to take them to the office. You're going to ban them from this branch. You're going to report them to the police because they have no way of feeding their kids.
Yeah, but again, remember, that goes in again to the case-by-case argument, innit?
Yeah.
So, for example, we won't frown upon people who need food, stealing food from Tesco's because they're in need.
Yeah.
But if someone tries to steal or rob me,
Yeah.
or rob from an individual, that's a different story. So if someone attempts to rob you, your be very different. Your think will be very different in regards to you seeing someone steal from the shop.
Do you know what? It depends what the person robs from me, you know?
Let's just
I
say
can't
it
lie
was a
to you.
sandwich.
Wait, so you don't mind if someone robs from you?
It really depends on the person, like what it is that's robbed from me. Because you know, because I'm very like, see the way I talk here.
When I mean rob, I don't mean like a sneaky. I mean they actually they stuck
It's
you
a
up.
stick up.
It's a stick up. Like violent,
That's so funny.
aggressive, not just like trying to put your hand in your pocket. Even that's egregious.
Yeah, but see, well, that's different
Yeah.
because that's violence. Do you get what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. So
You could have taken it without
It's
having
case by
to threaten
case.
my life with it.
because if you witness a poor person who's in need stealing food,
Yeah.
right, you won't really care because they're in need, right?
Yeah.
If you see someone stealing from someone vulnerable,
Yeah.
so you see a big man stealing an old woman's purse. You know that narrative when
Yeah.
boys steal old women's purses. That's a different scenario, isn't it? So I
Yeah.
think with theft, it is a crime,
Yeah.
but the nuances of the actual theft will make you feel differently.
Yeah,
about,
that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true actually, yeah.
I was going to say something else, yeah, to kind of wrap up, yeah, to kind of touch on that same question, yeah. Obviously, as you know, in the Bible, Garden of Eden,
I was gonna say, do I know?
in the Garden of Eden, God said, "Don't eat from this particular tree,
Yeah.
right, of good and evil, right?" Now, God said, "You're gonna die," right? They didn't die, right?
They did.
Who?
Because we're meant to live forever, but then the death
Okay,
is that
yeah.
we have a cap on our age. We die.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But I guess if one hears that, you may think, you know what, I'm gonna die right now
Yeah,
because obviously
okay.
this is gonna keep me from coming to this tree, right?
Okay, yeah.
I say all that to say, do you feel like there's certain things, yeah, again, certain crimes that is kind of put in certain places to prevent us from maybe tapping into something that could truly free human beings?
I think it's for our own good. I wish Eve never ate, even Adam never ate the apple. I really do, because I feel like the things that we're exposed to now as a result of them doing that, I don't want to be exposed to them. I honestly, I don't. Like, I'm not like suicidal or anything here. Or sometimes just like, what is it? This way you look so concerned.
No, I'm trying to ascertain where you're going with this.
No, because sometimes I'm just like, this is not necessary. There is no need for any of this. Do you get me? Like, life could have been so easy and so simple. Maybe easier if it didn't exist. Do you get me?
Explain to me, right? Because I'm not that well versed in the Adam and Eve story and what the significance of
them doing
not or
Yeah.
eating the apple. So, if they didn't eat the apple,
Yeah.
in your opinion, what would the world look like?
It'd be great. It'd be perfect. We would like, it would just be easy. We would just be living and just.
But what did eating the apple reveal?
So it revealed a lot of awareness about evil, I guess, to be honest.
Okay.
So it made that's when they were like, that's when it's like greed came into it and like coveting and sin. That's basically when it opened the floodgates
For sin.
for sin, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because because basically there were other people that existed when Adam and Eve existed as well, but they were God's chosen people.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? And they were meant to create a lineage of like just people in just living in God's blessings. So them eating the fruit just made them aware of good and evil. So when we think about like they were walking around naked and whatever,
Yeah.
just free.
Yeah.
Like literally free.
Yeah.
As soon as they ate the apple,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we're naked. We have to hide. We have to. Now, there's like perversion has now come into it. Do you get what I mean? And then across the Bible and stuff like that, you just see
But the thing
all
is,
sorts
but
come into it.
Would there have been opportunities for someone else to eat the apple or, whatever the object could have been? So just because, it was...
Yeah.
No?
Do you know what?
Wasn't there a propensity for that to happen anyway?
I don't think so because Adam and Eve were the ones in the garden. So I feel like they were the leaders of the human race.
Okay.
So I think it's a thing where like if they hadn't eaten it I don't think it's something that anyone else would have dared
Yeah.
to eat it.
I think it's kind of like.
But
your
is it
parents
is
raising
it just the apple though? Aren't there other?
No, this was just that fruit. It was just that fruit, that tree of
Yeah.
good and that was a tree of good and
Yeah.
what is it? Good and evil, or
Yeah.
life or something like that.
What is
The
it?
tree of life. Tree of life. That's it.
Yeah, tree of good and evil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just that one tree.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm trying to ask is, wouldn't there have been other tests after that test though, or that was it? This was the one.
We don't even know,
That,
you
that
know,
was the one
Yusuf.
test that mankind would have faced, and get this test right or wrong, you're gonna literally write history.
The way, do you know, 'cause obviously we don't know God's mind,
Yeah, of
but
course, of
the
course.
way like the Bible is,
Yeah.
that was the one thing. Like you can do anything in the world. You get to name. You can do anything. You can roam wherever you
Yeah.
want. But that one thing, don't do it.
Okay,
So I feel like that was the test.
that was it. That was
That was the ultimate test. And unfortunately, we would have known if there were other tests because they failed the first test. So we would have known if it was 2, 3, or 10. Do you get what I mean? But Yeah.
It kind of introduced consequences, isn't it?
yeah,
Exactly.
it did.
Nowadays, it's like, here's a titty. Don't consume. And sometimes,
So I licked a tit or whatever.
you know?
and then consequences about.
There's literally consequences. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't want
God knew that-
consequences.
God knew that they would flop, though. To be honest,
No, he did because he had the whole plan about
Yeah,
Jesus
he-
coming anyway. So
he wanted an
God is great.
entire tapestry of
yeah.
discoveries.
But like, obviously, again, just to wrap up, if Adam and Eve didn't eat the garden, sorry, eat the eat the fruit from the tree, right? In
Yeah.
the garden, and all of us, let's just say we're all from Adam and Eve's lineage, yeah.
Yeah.
That means all of us will be in the garden right now, yeah.
Chilling, bruv. The nicest mangoes going.
Exactly. All of that good stuff, yeah. All the things that come about from eating it, like consequences and stuff, but the freedom
Yeah.
and other things that come with this, yeah, we wouldn't benefit from today.
But we had freedom though. I was walking around tits just out. But
But
I can only imagine the bodies was been perfect. No need for BB. The body was been perfect.
But you wouldn't be able to appreciate that though.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't consider what I have now freedom.
Okay. Cool.
Being a Christian, I do not consider this earth I'm living in. I don't consider it freedom. There's just consequence. Like I find it very overwhelming sometimes.
So you don't feel like you can create your own heaven here on earth?
I can't because I don't live for this earth. Do you get what I mean? Like my main goal, my main focus, everything I do on this earth, ultimately is setting me up for the afterlife.
Yeah.
So I can't like, and even that I find that like it's overwhelming for me sometimes. When I think about it as just a human, like that is overwhelming to me. Do you get what I mean? Like every single thing has consequences.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like and I think because I'm a Christian, I'm spirit filled. Like I feel what's it called? Convicted about so much. So I say like not on a suicidal thing, but it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. It really is a lot it's very, very overwhelming. My mind and my brain is very, very overwhelmed. I don't consider it freedom at all.
But I guess you can live in a so-called free country, right, and not be free, right?
Yeah.
Because I guess the way you conduct yourself.
Yeah.
But if we're all in the garden and we all don't know we're naked,
Yeah.
are we really exercising some freedom? Like we're just doing the default. But if we're in a world where you have a choice and you know what it means to be naked and you choose to be naked in a world where everyone's clothed, that's freedom.
Yeah, but you know what it is with this world, what comes to this world here, it's like so as a Christian, it's like you've got the flesh and you got that the flesh and the spirit, right? And so like I have freedom in Christ. Let me rephrase actually what I said earlier. I have freedom in Christ.
Yeah.
Life is a lot better for me. Like life makes so much sense when I'm reading my Bible, when I'm in tune with God. Like it makes so much sense for me. That then I feel freedom. Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
But I think I don't know. I just think we answer your question. I don't know. I personally feel like we have too many choices, and that's a problem.
I think it's going to your point. So, like, do you see freedom as going against the grain or complying with what everyone wants to do? Because you might want to do what status quo is anyway.
Yeah.
So for you, that is freedom.
Exactly.
You don't desire to go against the grain.
Yeah. I think freedom's just the
feel
the
like
choice.
people look at it like if you go against status quo, then you're truly free because you're not a sheep or following what everyone else is doing. But those people the sheep might like being a sheep.
Yeah.
They might enjoy whatever this is that we're all doing together. I'm choosing to do it because I want it. I don't want to do whatever it is over there.
But I think the issue is, I think a lot of the time the sheep think they're being free
Yeah.
or they are free,
Yeah.
but really they're scared of what it means to not be a sheep.
So I guess freedom is
So that's
then
not freedom.
so having a lack of choice or
Mm-hmm.
having a lack of options then, because if you've only got one option
Mm-hmm.
and this is the only option you've ever known, then you are free because you don't know any other way. If you now know other ways,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you want to do something else,
Mm.
but you feel like you can't because of social constructs or XYZ,
Mm-hmm.
then I guess you aren't free.
I agree with that second part. I don't agree with the first part where you said if that's the only thing you know.
Yeah,
Because I feel like you could be brought up in a particular place where,
yeah,
in fact, let's just go to slavery.
yeah,
There were people who were born in slavery, into slavery.
yeah.
That's all they knew. All they knew was the white man was the master and that life was as it was.
Yeah, but slavery is a very particular thing though, because that's the epitome of not being free. That's like the definition of not being free.
Literally.
being someone's slave.
Yeah,
so
but
that's a
people-
bit different to, for example, being born into the world where no one wears clothes.
Yeah.
You don't know anything else than to be naked. So you are free. But slavery, that's a human being, take another human being saying, you work for me, I own you.
Yeah, but doesn't want free flog you.
That's the definition of not being free.
Yeah.
Because you're under my control.
Yeah.
But choosing not to wear clothes in a world where that's what people, not wearing clothes in a world where people don't wear clothes, where you don't know anything else,
Yeah.
then you mentally you are free until you realize, oh, I can wear clothes. That's where I see it anyway.
Yeah,
I get what
Yeah.
you're saying, but I'm not sure I would call it freedom though, because I feel like if there's a chance that there could be something different, even if you don't know it.
But how do you know though?
But that's the thing.
Thing is, people can't talk to what they don't know. You're talking from a place of privilege because you know
Yeah.
that there's other things out there. But let's put our minds into someone who is just this empty vessel who has no idea about anything else but
Yeah.
the fact that we don't wear clothes. So they don't know anything else.
No,
So
yeah.
in their reality, in their bubble, they are free. You looking from the outside looking in, you're looking at them and think you ain't free because you don't know that you can wear clothes, but I do.
That's what I'm saying. Like I agree with what you're saying, right? In terms of how it's relative and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they may think they're free, but they're wrong. That's how I see it.
No, but they are free though.
Yeah, because
but they're not.
Yeah,
no, but they're
they
free.
are free
They're free, but you because
because you know that thing is
you have another option.
Yeah.
You don't think they're free. But
so
they
from,
are free.
From your perspective, from the outside looking in, you're looking at them and thinking you're not free. But in their minds,
Yeah.
they're free.
That's what I'm saying. But
So what's freedom? Is it perception or is it reality? And their reality is that they're free. You know what I'm trying to say? It's all...
yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think to me, freedom is you having the mental capacity to explore something, to look at something, question it, and then say, you know what, I'm going to go a step further and say, let me try this particular thing. If you're in a world where it's like, okay, we're all naked,
Yeah.
and you feel that's freedom, but yet nothing triggers your mind to think, you know what, it's a bit cold here. Let me do something different. You can't be free. There's
No, but
But if
you know what I'm trying to say.
but the thing
There's
is,
something there blocking
If we lived in a world where
your capacity.
there was no clothes, then our bodies would be different. We wouldn't even... Where we react to heat and cold would be different anyway.
yeah.
So there
No,
wouldn't
but
be...
you would need clothes.
No, but hear me out. Because you guys told me if Adam... Sorry, who ate the apple again?
I don't know.
Yeah, Adam and Eve,
No,
yeah.
they both ate it.
They both ate it,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
If they never ate the apple, then we wouldn't know clothes,
Yeah.
right? So we wouldn't know. We wouldn't be thinking, oh, it's cold. I need to cover up with a jacket. What's a jacket?
Exactly.
yeah.
What's a t-shirt? These things don't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? The way the world would have went, I'm sure the world would have went completely different. So in terms of like climate, weather, our bodies would have been different in the way we adapt to the weather. So it wouldn't have been a case of, oh my God, suddenly now it's 19 something, something, something. Oh my God, it's cold. Can someone make me a coat? Like those things don't exist. All we know is nakedness. That's the world.
So it was the shame that had them putting on the clothes. It
the
wasn't
clothes.
the fact that
It was cold.
Yeah.
I think if it is that they moved climate, they would
No,
have.
no, no, I mean-
evolved.
Yeah.
Just like how TNE's always wearing shorts.
There you go.
But
Yeah. I think when you think that you have more, because sometimes, even freedom, I don't know if freedom is necessarily a good thing, because I can't remember what we were talking about recently on here. And I was talking about like when sometimes Western people or Western women, no, Western people look at like, say like women in Middle East, like, oh, they're oppressed, blah, blah. unless they come out, I was saying how unless they come out and say,
Yeah.
do you know what, we want to fight, we want more freedom, they're fine. Like when I think about like the cultures, like I've got friends from secondary school, who had like arranged marriages because that's their culture.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are happy, they're blissed. Do you know what I mean? They're having fun. But it's me with my eyes, I think that I've got a better option. Look at me, who's got all the choices. I'm still single.
But
Do you get me? So I feel like with freedom, if you think you're free, I honestly don't equate freedom to being a good thing. Just kind of go back to the whole, if Adam and Eve hadn't eaten in, that would be more free. I don't relate freedom to being a good thing. I think we have way too many choices, and that's what can be a lot.
see, like I know 100%. I want to put a disclaimer out here. I know you're not saying this in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah.
Right. But it's kind of like the whole grooming thing.
Yeah.
At a certain age, you just don't know, right? But you could be living your life in a particular way, right? And be content. Yeah, all of us will say, no, this person was groomed, this, that, and the third, right? There's no freedom there because your mind didn't have the capacity to say, you know what, this is my existence here, but is there something else?
No, but that's
But
different.
is that freedom or that's a searching for knowledge and
But
learning?
but that's what freedom is.
Yeah, but everyone has the freedom to learn and to gain knowledge.
People just choose not to.
Like,
Look at North Korea. Are they free?
give me what's the example?
Okay, so North Korea.
They drop mic.
North Korea have got what's that? Kim Jong Un.
Yeah.
That guy, right? Like we said before, obviously I think it was a bit more extreme back in the day. I think with his grandfather and stuff like that, right? But they thought they won the World Cup at a particular time. The propaganda, all the things that was
I
around them.
think that is one of the funniest things
because that's
ever.
yeah, but he is deliberately feeding them false information.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's deliberate, though, Yusuf.
It does matter if it's
It does,
deliberate.
because
What do you mean it
even
doesn't
like
matter
with the
if it's
example of the
deliberate?
grooming, like that's different because certain things are different. Like certain things are different.
That's,
Just because
I don't think that's a good example.
it's a damn crime.
He's deliberately lying to his
To people, yeah.
feeding them false information.
Yeah.
So like,
they
I don't-
know
I
they're
don't
not
get
free
it.
though.
No, but they don't. Some of them won't know. Some of them won't know.
And
Yeah, because they're being manipulated. They're being
but
tricked.
that's the point I'm trying to make, though. Regardless of
What's that say? God was manipulating us in the Garden of Eden.
I'm not saying that. I'm basically saying, well, Satan would basically say that.
Yeah, but
wouldn't
remember,
he?
there's a reason why they don't have freedom. We're not talking about someone who's in the free world and who has options and choices. These people are being oppressed and they're being lied to by their leader. They're being fed falsehoods.
But look at the words you're using, right? You're saying oppressed and certain things.
Yeah.
All of these things are from your perspective, right? Like we said before about our perspective of wearing clothes, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
Yet in that example, you're saying we can't use our perspective to judge whether they're free. But in this one, we can. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to say to you, I don't think it's got anything to do with how somebody's freedom's being taken away if they're being manipulated. If you're just in a situation where your brain doesn't even allow you to think outside of the box, even if you're content, I feel like there's a lack of freedom there.
No, the thing is, going back to your point, if they're in that, where is it, North Korea, right?
Yeah.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're being fed falsehoods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then obviously, they're free. Because in their mind, this is the truth. But like I said about you, looking inside from the outside. If I'm looking in from the outside, I know they're being lied to. I know that they're saying that this person won the World Cup when this person didn't win the World Cup. And these are facts. So I can see from the outside looking in, they are being lied to. So they're being coerced into believing that they're free when I know that they ain't. But in their minds, in their blissful sanctuary, they're free because they don't know they're being lied to, but I do.
So would you say, obviously not to make the conversation keep going, right? But would you say freedom is more sort of state of mind than anything else?
It's definitely a state of mind because going back to that example, if you're living in North Korea and you have no idea that the newspapers are lying to you, then in your world, you're free because you don't know any better. It's us who know that they're being lied to, who know that you're not free because the actual truth of the world is being hidden from you.
That's crazy, though.
You know what I mean?
Well, North Korea.
No, it's just crazy that like that could be our reality then, because then
Well, like right now.
Yeah, because at any given moment we could then say, you know what, we're free, right? But we're not free because there could be something that some particular maybe group of people are hiding us, are keeping us from knowing.
but-
We kind of have that
but
because we don't know
are
what
you-
happens after death.
Yeah, but it's freedom for you, being able to make decisions for yourself, being able to do what you want, or are you talking about the consumption of information and learning?
I think it encompasses all of that for me.
Because
you know?
learning, that's a choice. right? You have to seek out information. You have to read, you have to listen, you have to watch. That's something you choose to do.
It depends, because in some
And if you don't-
situations
if-
it's kept from you.
If you don't, some things are kept from you, of course. Like, just so many things are kept from us. But with when it comes to learning and freedom, what's your ultimate point though?
What do you mean?
Imaya's trying to tell you that he would have eaten the apple.
I'm not saying that.
It's a question.
Because remember,
Would you have eaten
people
the
have the freedom and the choice, but some people don't want to seek out
Yes, that's true.
information. So they're still free though. Just because that person doesn't have the desire or the motivation to want to go and find out more about said thing, doesn't mean they ain't free. Just
Okay.
means that they don't care, or they're happy with what they have, and they don't
I think I agree with that part.
They don't necessarily desire or think about more.
But that last bit you said, I agree with. I think it's more so, from my perspective, right? It's more so them being content with where they are, but not valuing freedom. Because, kind of see it like this, right? We're both on an island, water all around us, right? And we don't know nothing outside of our island. But then some people come from some next place, come see us, we interact with them, and then they go. Immediately, you know there's something else out there,
Yeah.
right? If I say to you, I'm willing to go, let's just build this boat thing that they left
Yeah.
here, let's use it and let's go. And you say, no, I'm not going,
Yeah.
right? To me, like, that's not freedom. That's
Nah,
being content with where you are.
Maybe it's your choice of words.
Okay.
That's still freedom. They've decided they don't want to go.
Okay, you know, actually, that's a good.
They're free to go. They said, I don't want to go.
That's actually a good point, because actually they know it exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in a world where you don't know it exists,
Yeah.
right? To me, that's not freedom if that thing exists.
So are you saying that someone's reluctance to explore and learn isn't them exercising their freedom?
No, but you know what's out there to learn.
No, but they might not want to. Like, I don't
Yeah,
see,
but then that's fine, because
Yeah.
then you're freely choosing
Yeah,
to
yeah.
not thingy. But if you don't know there's such a thing as time and the past, and there's books that can tell you about time in the past, right? It's different to me. You know what I'm saying? To willingly choose not to do something is different to not knowing it even exists. And I think that there's certain forces at play that that benefit from making us unaware of certain things.
But thing is, willingly deciding not to seek something out,
Yeah.
right? So you know it exists, but you're choosing not to search it out. So you have the freedom to decide that I want to go and explore X, Y, Z. You're choosing not to. You have the freedom. If you don't know this thing exists, it's not even in your thinking,
Yeah.
right? You're still free. You have no knowledge of that.
I don't think you're free.
How,
I think
how
that
are you not free?
I think that speaks to. It's kind of like this. I don't know why I thought of this yet. It's an extreme example, but Tupac, said he was born in prison, innit?
Yeah.
Right. Let's just say all he knew was the prison walls, the bars. He's in there with his mum, Afeni Shakur.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. There's no one can convince me he's free.
But again, you keep using dictionary definitions of not being free. Slavery, prison. I'm talking about people who are in the free world. Not people who are actually
Thank
who
you.
are actually not free.
But
You're
Okay, go
using
on.
actual definitions of not being free. Let's talk about
Just as an
people who-
analogy.
I know, but that analogy works too much to your favor because it is the definition of not being free.
Okay,
being
cool.
in prison
Okay.
and being a slave. I'm talking about someone who lives in the free world,
Yeah.
who chooses
Yeah.
not to seek out information because they
Yes.
don't want to.
Yeah.
Then there's people who don't know about this information. There's, for example, let me try to find an example. Let's just say I'm talking about sports, and you're telling me about a particular footballer, and I don't know about this footballer because
Yeah.
that person never came across my ears, my eyes. He never came up in conversation. I had no idea about this great footballer that you knew about because you knew the knowledge. I've still been free my whole life. I just didn't know about this particular person. Just because that knowledge didn't find me, or doesn't mean that I was never free. I was still free.
I get what you're saying, but I think it's maybe how we're seeing it in terms of what's relative, right?
Yeah.
The reason why I use these analogies is because
Yeah.
to me, we can be living in this world, right, on
Yeah.
Earth, doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it can be figuratively, or metaphorically, that prison cell that I was talking about, where you can roam around and stuff,
Yeah.
but you don't know what's outside of this world. And because you don't know, if there is something out there, right,
Yeah.
you can't be free to me.
I think
get where I'm coming
I
from?
think freedom, not really. I think freedom for me is more so not being able to do what you want to do,
Okay.
right? Not being able to, you know, if there's a choice you want to make and you can't do it because of whatever rules, regulations, and constructs are around you, that's not being free.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, you know, not seeking out knowledge or not having the knowledge of isn't freedom.
Or like not knowing, not knowing what
that,
the unknown is.
That's not freedom. That's you're still free. Just because you don't know what's way in the yonder doesn't. You're still free to explore if you want to. It's your choice. The not knowing. I'm confused with the lack of knowledge to freedom. To me, those things are not even. They're not even one and the same. They're not even in the same conversation to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, because of time, I don't want us to keep going on, right? But this might need to be a topic of the day another time, man.
Yeah, before we go, so you're created by God in this land, and you've been given a white companion, right? Because that's your preference. And you were told there's a tree of knowledge,
Yes.
right? And this knowledge is abounding, evil, good, all incorporated and intertwined into this tree. He tells you, do not eat from the tree.
God tells me.
Eat 100%.
Okay, cool.
Don't eat from the tree. Even though he's told you he's a tree of knowledge.
Yeah.
Because it's the same concept you're talking about, right? You knowing that there is something out there that exists and this is the pathway to it.
Yeah.
Are you eating from that tree?
I think ultimately, yeah.
Based on you saying you want to live a life of freedom.
Yeah.
Right? And you qualify freedom as you having the knowledge that you want to know without any inhibitors. Go on.
It's a tough one, yeah. I think initially I'll be like, you know what, this is God's told me this, right? So that's the final word, to be honest with you. But a part of me may think, you know what, God may respect me a bit more, not necessarily just for disobeying, but for wanting to exercise a level of divinity in not allowing myself to be confined to a particular thing and way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? It may cost me my life, right? But I feel like freedom is more important. And this might be just a reflection of my pro-blackness, you know what I'm saying? That's making me speak like this. But I feel like freedom is more important than life to me. You know what I'm saying? Because an inhibited, controlled life isn't worth living. What is the point? If I can't be everything my creator made me.
All right,
to
so
be.
I have a little bit of difficulty understanding
But
if you've asked my question.
Sorry, aren't those down to the choices you make though?
What do we? What
You're saying that having a life where, you know, you're on the shackles isn't worth living.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not literally as slavery, but just in terms of what you can do in it.
Yeah.
Those are down to your choices. I don't think that's down to necessarily a lack of knowledge about, you know, everything that's out there. I don't feel like you need to know everything to be free. You don't have to be all-knowing to be free. You can actually live a life not knowing everything, because we don't know everything, right? Yeah. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
And like we all have a level of freedom. So that's why I'm confused about the knowledge thing. I don't feel like knowledge equates to freedom. For me, it doesn't equate to freedom. Freedom is being able to make choices and decisions that, you know, make you happy.
Yeah. I think so.
It's not about, to me, it's not about knowledge. And especially if you have, especially if you don't know. If you don't know, then how do you, if you don't know, you don't know. Like if you know and you decide not to seek it out, that's your choice. You're free to choose or not to choose, right?
Yeah.
If you have no idea, no clue, I can't look at a person and say you're not free. You didn't know. So once you know, you can make the decision whether or not you want to seek it out or not. Then I can say, okay, cool, you've exercised your freedom. Without the actual knowing, how can I say you're not free? Because you didn't have the choice. There were no options for you.
I
don't want to get back into this, please.
Yeah.
This is a different topic. I want you, Emmanuel.
Yeah, go.
Just you, right?
Yes.
We're allowed to think differently. That's because
Yes.
I want your response.
All right, cool.
Do you think that you can follow instructions from somebody and still claim yourself as free?
Yes.
All right. So in you deciding you are not going to eat it, it's not you saying that you're not free. It's you just saying, no, I can listen to instructions and still be free. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you would definitely eat it.
I didn't say how different.
Yeah, I know. But I'm done.
Well, it's a good thing I wasn't there.
All right, Esther.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's get into the next headlines.
All right, so our next headline is, well, let me just get straight into it. Nearly 50 Tory MPs want to amend the online safety bill to introduce 2-year sentences for tech managers who failed to stop children seeing harmful material. The bill would compel managers of sites hosting user-generated content, including social media sites, to take proportionate measures to stop children seeing harmful material. The draft law says this could be through measures such as age verification, taking content down, and parental controls. Currently, failure to comply could lead to fines of up to 10% of global revenue for companies failing in their legal duties, including to protect children. However, the Tory rebels, right, had argued that only personal liability for company bosses would ensure that child safety provisions are effective. Speaking in the Commons, leading Tory rebel Miriam Cates said that she was delighted with the government's commitments, adding that only personal criminal liability would drive proactive change in the industry. So Jeremy Wright, who's a former Attorney General, said there was a strong case for extending criminal liability, but this must be appropriately designed, adding the rebels' amendment had been too broad. The bill would now begin what is expected to be a lengthy journey through the House of Lords after MPs gave their final approval on Tuesday. And the next headline is about China. And apparently China's population falls for the first time since 1961. So China's population has fallen for the first time in 60 years, with the national birth rate hitting a record low of 6.77 births per 1,000 people. The population in 2022 was 1.4118 billion, right? Which fell by 850,000 from the previous year. China's birth rate has been declining for years, prompting a slew of policies to slow the trend. But 7 years after scrapping the one-child policy, it has entered what one official described as an era of negative population growth. The birth rate in 2022 was also down from 7.522 in 2021, according to China's National Bureau of Statistics, which released figures on Tuesday. And in comparison, in 2021, the United States recorded 11.06 births per 1,000 people, and the UK 10.08 births. So there's more births happening in the UK than in China, right? The birth rate for the same year in India, which is poised to overtake China as the world's most populous country, was 16.42. So India really, they're getting busy over there. And the last headline is it's about Greta Thunberg. You know, the teenager who had the little back and forth with Andrew Tate. No? Okay. Well, the climate campaigner.
That's freedom.
Huh?
That's freedom.
Climate campaigner Greta Thunberg was among those briefly detained by police at a protest in Western Germany. She was protesting with activists seeking to stop the abandoned village of Lützerath from being demolished from the expansion of a coal mine. Police clarified that Ms. Thunberg had not been arrested and later said she had been released after an ID check. The Swedish activist was detained after a group rushed towards the ledge of the Gasvela 2 mine. Officers also confirmed all of those detained will not be charged. Activists argue that burning coal undermines Germany's efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which they said they want to be completely done with by the year 2028. But yeah, that's the end of the headlines.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get into Word on Road. Right, so yesterday, Marks and I were telling you about Bugsy Malone and Gemma Owens allegedly going out. Well, he's come out to say that is absolute false. And it's so funny because some of you were in the comments tussling, trying to make right a 13-year age gap between a 19-year-old and add 13 to it.
Where did that rumor come from?
The Sun just
words. There was no
published.
pictures, nothing. Just
No, there's no pictures together.
Words.
They just said they've been dating in secret, and 2 months after Luca, and
I swear, Bugsy Malone's got a girlfriend though.
he's engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when has that ever stopped anyone? But he did come out and say, he said, at the Michael Owen, this was on Instagram, your daughter looks lovely, but 19 isn't my cup of tea or coffee. someone go tell the sun to behave. And I love that he did that because it was definitely not right. But he would have been, it was given B. Kelly, and that's not, we don't do that. And then my next bit of news is the actress Anika Noni Rose. So she's the actress in The Princess and the Frog, which is iconic because that was the first Disney princess. She was also in Maid. I thought when you see her, you will know what she looks like. She was in Roots as well. What else has she been in that I know about? Was she in The Colour Purple? I think she might have been. One of those films anyway. But yeah, so basically she got married. She got married to her long-time boyfriend, well, now husband. Oh dear, sorry, hold on. It's not working with me. Okay, yeah, Jason Durden. And actually they met in 2014. I love stories like this, where basically they met in 2014. It was never out that they were dating. It was all like literally everything was all just private and just enjoying it, away from the press, away from the public eye. It was just great. Wholesome relationship. And they met in 2014 and they were friends first. She said we were friends for a couple of years. And then we both went off and did our own things and were disconnected for a while. And then we swung back and it was the right moment for both of us to be open and available for the possibility of what we have now. And it was just absolutely beautiful. They look so lovely, just so beautiful, so wholesome. She said neither of us really planned to end up with somebody in the business. She said we have fun and we laugh a lot, which is really, really important. And we don't talk so much about business either. She said when we first worked together, that's what drew us in together as friends. And this is what he was saying. That working together drew them in together as friends. He said this woman is so silly. She has a 4-year-old child living inside of her that will never go away. She loves to prank people and she has that kind of spontaneous silliness to her that allowed both of us to release any type of armor or any type of defense mechanism and allowed us to really just be who we are with each other. I just absolutely love it. I love stories like this. I just love when because she's such a good actress, but she's one of those actresses that just gives you calm and loving and caring and a warm heart. And her husband really radiates the same thing. Beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful pictures. She's got exclusive interview with brides. So you can check that out if you want to read the entire story. And also honorary shout out as well to the big boy designer. Hold on. I think it's Alunoko. So I don't want to get it wrong. It's a Nigerian name. Hold on. It is Aloniko Bridal. She makes Very Wangan got nothing on her.
Okay.
Her wedding dresses. She's black. She's Nigerian, and she's from London. And her wedding dresses are iconic. So you know the meshes, yeah. You know the skin type mesh that you see girls wear, and it looks like they're naked. It gives the illusion of that.
Yeah.
Hers is so seamless that you would actually question whether the person's got it.
Or not.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She is such an amazing, amazing designer. And I'm so happy for her because I think when was her first viral moment? It might have been lockdown. So seeing her business kind of just travel to Hollywood and everything, black excellence at its finest. And she said how she knew that she wanted her to make a dress, which is absolutely amazing. And they planned their wedding 2 months. So they got engaged in December 2021. And obviously because they're both actors and producers or whatever, they couldn't get a date properly. And they just they saw an opening in the calendar and said, okay, October it is, and let's do it. And it was interesting because she said she wasn't a girl who grew up kind of dreaming about her wedding day and what kind of wedding dress she wants and all that kind of stuff. But I guess meeting the right person made her desire all those things, which is really, really cute. But yeah, they look absolutely beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Then my last bit of news is Love Island and how obviously Maya Jama is she's a new host, but apparently she's doing such a great job that they're looking at making her a multi-series, giving her a multi-series deal.
I don't see no reason why they shouldn't.
Exactly. I don't see why they shouldn't. Yeah. I don't see why they shouldn't. She's doing really well. Okay, my words, I'm glitching. She's doing really, really well with it. She's doing really amazing with it. And some of you are rude as well. People were like, I can't believe this will be, they had a picture of, what's her name? Laura Whitmore. They had a picture and they were like, I can't believe this is what we were dealing with all these years. And they had a picture of her with those fancy pants where she was doing her little dance. And they're like, you mean to tell me this is what we've been dealing with? But then Maya's doing an amazing job. She's just too stunning for words. It's unbelievable. But yeah, man, big up Maya Jama. I really hope that's true and that is what will happen. But I reckon it will be because who else are they going to give it to?
Yeah, it's true. I was just
Really and
thinking
truly. Yeah. But yeah, guys, that is all from me. People are behaving themselves in the celebrity world, which I love to see, but I think I need a bit of drama. But yeah, that's it from me. Let's get into People's Journal.
All right, people. Welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. So the first thing I want to talk about here is something called the debt ceiling. And this is something that is basically going on in America right now, in Congress, where they're kind of debating on whether to raise the debt ceiling. So the debt ceiling, basically, just a bit of background knowledge here. You know, like when governments spend money, right? They spend a certain amount of money. Let's just say they spend 200 million, right? But sorry, let's just say 400 million. But they're only getting in from taxes or whatever means of income, half of that.
Yeah.
In order to spend that extra 200 million, they need to borrow that money, right? You have to generate that money in some type of way, right? And then obviously that's your debt, right? Now, obviously, the more things you have to spend every year, or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
Especially if your income is not, rising with it, right? Will mean you're liable for more debt, right? So there's this thing called the debt ceiling where there's kind of like a cap on the amount of debt any government should be able to spend, basically. And typically what happens is, well, in the past anyway, you'd kind of have a back and forth, deliberate with everyone in Congress, Capitol Hill, wherever, talking about whether we should spend more than this this particular cap, for example. Well, in the past, before there was a cap, if there was a need for more borrowing, they would kind of come together and deliberate on whether they should. But obviously, it got, I guess, too taxing. Yeah. And they just thought, you know what, let's implement this whole thing of a debt ceiling. So when it gets to this particular cap up here, then we can come together, sit down, talk about whether we should raise the cap or not. Okay. Now, I say all of that, right? Hopefully my explanation was good enough for people to understand, right? But I say all of that to say there's a cap right now, the debt ceiling is right now where it is, and these people are deliberating on whether to raise that cap. If they don't raise the cap effectively, it kind of would make the president more reluctant to spend money, right? Because where's he going to get this money from? He has to borrow this money. And obviously you can't go above this particular cap. And so that would mean the president can do less things and this, that, and the third. And there's certain things in America that they need to obviously spend on. Every government has certain things they need to spend on. Now, why is this important? It's important because I'm going to list a few things that that would affect certain everyday things in America, if they do not, raise this cap, or at least deal with the situation in an appropriate manner, right? 15 million seniors could stop receiving social security payments. 30 million families could stop receiving Biden's expanded child tax credit payments. These are the things that he's promised, right? Things that I guess the population have gotten used to. Pretty much, yeah. U.S. military service members could stop receiving paychecks. Veterans' benefits could be stopped or delayed. A bunch of different things. But why am I mentioning it now? Because this affects also the stock market. That's the point of why I'm mentioning it. Because as much as obviously we don't live in America, we know the S&P 500 is one of the biggest exchanges or whatever in the world, right? Yeah. All the biggest companies in the world, Apple, Google, Amazon, all of that, all on S&P, right? Cool. The last time there was this whole standoff when deliberating the whole debt ceiling and whether to raise it and whatnot, the S&P lost 17% in those months where there was this particular standoff. That affects markets across the world, right? That's why it's important. So I'm going to obviously have to give more information on this as it's progressing and if they come to some type of conclusion and stuff like this. Because obviously, again, we're already dealing with the cost of living crisis. We're already dealing with inflation. Typically, one of the biggest reasons for inflation, as we know, is kind of like, when you're just printing money, spending money you don't have, right? It just devalues your currency and stuff like this. America can't afford to to basically be in this whole type of kerfuffle, innit? One side is basically saying increase the debt ceiling so that obviously you can spend and all these things don't, go down the drain. Yeah. But the other side is basically saying if you raise it, don't raise it so we can curb the amount of money that we're spending on certain things that we don't necessarily need, right? Again, that will translate to the whole stock market thing and affect us in the UK. The more I find out, the more I will let people know, right? Also, this next particular thing is about Netflix. Yeah, I was a bit hesitant reluctant to mention this because just in case Esther decides to apply for it, but basically, because we don't want to lose Esther from TDA, right?
Did I see your phone?
Yeah. Are we accepting this?
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes.
What is this about?
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Esther's not impressed, man.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Good
man.
morning. Who are we speaking to, please?
Where's Marks, fam? Big up Marks, big up no behaviour, fam.
What are you saying? You right?
Yeah. Quick thing. I just want to keep accepting, innit? Are we live?
Tell you what.
Yeah, no behaviour.
Oh, he just called up to
Hold
say
tight,
this.
hold tight.
Just a
I'm going
shout
to keep
out.
it.
Yeah, shout out,
Hold
yeah.
tight,
Oh,
you're
what's
doing
your
a good
name?
job. Nah, don't worry about the name. I want to see you're doing a good job.
All right, Killy.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Bless.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Take care, you
thanks.
Oh, that's lovely.
Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, basically Netflix, right? They're offering to pay $385,000 for a flight attendant. Yes.
Oh, so you don't want to lose me on TDA because
We
I
didn't wanna
damn
lose
well
you.
will reply for that. I'll be live on air, literally.
So they're hiring a flight attendant for one of its private jets. And basically, whoever gets it, the successful applicant, is going to be paid as much as £385,000 a year, man.
Imagine who you meet on there.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Now imagine. So is that the Netflix private jet?
Yeah. One of their private jets.
So imagine how many people you meet because they have to take people to the premieres and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
All types of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I'll let you guys know what the application's like.
So those people, you know, the TDA, because, you know, we got a talented bunch of people in the chat and whatnot. So yeah, just in case you're interested, they're looking for candidates with independent judgment, right?
Okay.
Discretion is key, and outstanding customer service skills.
I don't think anyone in the chat applies.
No, they don't.
I can't see any viable candidates.
And the last thing I want to mention is basically about, obviously, as we know, cost of living crisis. People feel some type of way about asking for pay rises. In you lot's jobs here in the past, have you guys ever asked for a pay rise?
I asked because of my industry. You say yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, because of my industry, mine is not like that per
Okay.
se. So I did make some inquiries, and I didn't like the answer that came back to me.
Okay.
So now I'm looking for a new job.
Okay.
Long story short.
Well, I'm going to give some tips. Just
Okay.
briefly. They're nothing too crazy, to be fair. But it's why you need to listen to people's channel, right? First thing is, choose the right time. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure
There's
you're approaching...
no right time, man. It's a cost of living crisis.
Good point. Number two, bring the evidence. So a lot of the time, people don't log all the amazing things they do in it. Like I always tell my cousin before, on your CV, whenever you do some new thing that is like not in your job role or whatever, put it in your CV because you will forget. You will forget.
That
And
is so smart.
Yeah, you need the proof to say, look, this is all the things I bring to this company. If you don't appreciate it, over there, they will.
That's
You know what I'm
smart
saying?
because I've had to like be rethinking of stuff and I keep forgetting. And I remember something like randomly, like literally random. I'm like, oh yeah, that.
Exactly.
Like to add that on the other thing. Yeah, that's smart.
Exactly.
That's a very good idea.
Next thing is obviously be confident. I know it's easier said than done, but I think a lot of the time confidence just comes from practicing the same things. You know what I'm saying? So from preparation, basically. If you prepare and all that type of things, you'll be more confident than you would be if you didn't prepare. So just prepare, basically. Have a figure in mind as well, so you can negotiate. Nothing wrong with that. And also, just don't give up, man. Sister, don't give up.
I already gave up. I'm out the door.
Was it, you left?
No, not yet.
Oh.
But I'm on my way up.
Okay. Well,
Didn't appreciate me. I go where I'm celebrated.
that's the end of the People's Journal.
Thank you very
Hopefully,
much.
you know.
It helps people.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you very much. Let's get into the rotation. Yep. There's always one. Shouldn't you have left anyway?
Half past, no?
Oh, okay.
All right. right, guys, welcome back to the rotation. I feel, Brendan, you told the email I'm doing it twice this week, right?
No.
Okay.
Ooh, what's happening?
No, because there's Heady One. It's got a single coming out tomorrow
Okay.
called Martin's Sofa. Apparently, it's highly anticipated.
Okay.
And Krypton Conan have a new single coming out tomorrow as well.
Isn't it Thursday?
Called
Okay, they're going against the grain.
because normally new music comes out on Friday.
Friday,
For whatever
yeah.
reason, these two are putting something out on Thursday. So
Okay.
I thought I'd come in on Friday and
Yeah.
talk about those two.
Yeah. Please drop in the chat. Remind us in chat so we can listen to it as well.
Yeah, so I'll split my rotation into two. So I'll start with Fredo. He's back with a new single called Dave Flow. Hard hip hop beat with this kind of eerie kind of backing vocal, almost like a spirit. He's rapping though. He's rapping. He sounds sharp. All the usuals though. Money talk, street shit, lifestyle, money, hoes and clothes, all nigga knows, you know. That kind of vibe. He mentioned he's back off his hiatus. And I can actually imagine Dave rapping on this beat. I think he was doing his best Dave impression on this one in terms of his flow, his delivery, and even maybe his beat choice too. I'm not sure who produced it. Dave is in the video, so maybe Dave had his hand in it as well. But I like it, man. I've been playing it kind of non-stop since it came out. I was tweeting Margs as well. I think Margs is bumping it as well. I think it's got a good reception online from what I've seen so far. So check it out. Video's cool as well. Then you got Ambush. Anyone familiar with Ambush in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually one of my favorite UK artists, to be fair. It's quite as kept. He's got a new single out called Chop. Drill beat with like a hip hop undertone. The video's cool actually. It's a Paid in Full inspired video, acting out some of the scenes from the movie. But with Ambush in particular, I really like his energy, his bravado, flow, his voice, and he's got from my opinion, in terms of beat selection, he's got one of the best in the UK. He doesn't miss his projects. His beats are always on point. And I just like his character and his image overall. I thought the song is a nice addition to his catalogue. Nice little bit of street heat, you know what I mean? Generate some buzz, maybe there's a project on the way. Nice beat, concept, you know, chopping life, money, etc., and all the usuals. So check that out as well. That makes the rotation, and so does the Fredo track as well. Then we have Clavish. All right, so Clavish, UK rapper, he released a project called Rap Game Awful. Now this one was hard because 28 songs, 1 hour 30 minutes. It was a task.
28.
28 songs, 1 hour 30 minutes. It was a task to listen to it, but I'll get into it. So features on there, you had Mo Stack on there, you had DBE, Young's Teflon, Tiny Boost, Rimsey, and Tix the Author. Those are the most, there's a few others, but those are the most notable features he had on there. This is actually my first time listening to Clavish in this, like, as a project. I've heard singles, I've seen videos, but I haven't actually listened to a project, so it was new. Good production, a lot of rap beats, but it was kind of, everything was kind of dark. All the beats were kind of dark sounding, and all the beats at a certain point sounded kind of the same. But it was just too long. Like, I found myself losing focus. Like, looking at the track list and thinking,
We're not
there's
there yet.
80 more songs to go. Like, it just felt like it was too long and just too drawn out. And I feel like that ruined the experience for me. I found myself listening to it, getting tired of listening to it and turning it off, looking at the track list and realizing I had 12, 15 songs to go. I'm like, so yeah, I'm not a fan of long projects. I'm just going to put it out there. 1 hour, 30 minutes is too long. Like, this is a different age, different era. We need 45 minutes, 50 minutes, hour max. We don't need to be listening to your music for an hour and 30 minutes. Please, cut it down. But the project was cool. I think I got through it in its entirety once, then I went back and listened to a few songs that I thought caught my eye. But because a lot of the beats sound sameish to me, the song that stuck out was obviously the song, he's got a song called Four of Us that features Rimsey, Tiny Boost, and Young's Teflon. Obviously, that's like a nice posse cut. That stood out. Then a song called Roll with a G with Tix the Author. That might be a single, I'm not sure, because it sounds very single-ish. And then another single he had called Public Figure. It's decent too. But if I'm honest with you, I need to listen to it again. But it's just hard to listen to.
It's a lot.
It's too much to listen to. Like, to get through it again is, yeah, it'll have to be like a long gym session. But I like his style, I like his flow, I like his delivery. He's a decent rapper. A lot of street shit. But you know, Clavish was one of the best rappers of last year. He was on a lot of top 10 lists last year. He had a good 2022. And yeah, man. All right. Lastly, Drake released a video for a song off of the album of 21. What was it called again? Sorry. It was called Jumbotron Shit Poppin'. And our very own Central C makes a lot of appearances in that video. And he's also wearing £3.3 million worth of Pharrell's jewelry.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember back in the day when Pharrell was on his NERD stuff and he had all the like colourful
Yeah.
jewelry and stuff? I think Drake bought all his jewelry in it. So he's wearing a lot of that in the video. Video's cool.
I feel like Drake be concerned about the wrong things.
What's that?
I feel like Drake just be concerned about the wrong things.
Yeah, I think Drake treats hip hop like it's a game. And
Like it's a game.
And he's trying to complete the game.
Yeah, like I've done that, been there, bought t-shirt. I can do whatever I want to do now.
Yeah.
But you can't have several
What's that?
seats.
Freedom.
No, Drake definitely has the freedom. He has the financial freedom too to spend 3.3 million on jewelry. On I think it looks like only 3 to 4 pieces of jewelry at that. There's another single that I'll probably talk about it more on Friday, but it's Offset and Hit Boy got a single. Obviously, this is Offset's first release since Takeoff's passing. But I'll talk about that on Friday and to give it another spin. But yeah, so just Fredo single, check it out. It bangs. Ambush single, I like it as well. Check that out. Clavish, take it in if you like rap. It's good. Also, I need to take back a take. When I reviewed French's mixtape the other week, I gave it a kind of a lackluster review, but it's actually quite good. It's quite decent. Yeah, I gave it another listen after that day, and yeah, it's good. Check it out if you want some street rap. Coke Boy shit. Coke Boy 6 by French Montana is in the rotation. It wasn't in, but now it's in the rotation.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
Thank you very much. Let's get into our next headlines.
All right, so for this next headline, trigger warning here, and this is kind of like a follow-up of what happened at the unfortunate occurrence at Shaker's concert at Brixton. And basically, a whistleblower has claimed that some security guards at Brixton Academy regularly took bribes of up to £1,000 to let people in without tickets.
What's a whistleblower? Is that a snitch?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What'd you say, sorry?
So that ain't nothing new.
Yeah, but that's what's kind of led to this unfortunate incident, you know? It comes after 2 people were killed at a crush outside a gig at the South London venue in December. A security guard that some members of his team would each allow a couple of hundred extra people into venues.
Couple of hundred?
Yeah. This whistleblower, who's known as Rohan, said some staff made up to £1,000 in cash and bribes from gig goers who couldn't get a ticket. He said he was working on the door the night the Afrobeat artist Ashaker was performing last year. Rohan also claimed there was not enough security on duty that evening at the O2 Brixton, with only 110 members of the security team there when there should have been 190.
There's 110 security in there?
Yeah, members of the security team, I guess, doing different things around the place, I guess, yeah.
Got the bartender being security boy.
Crazy. But yeah, imagine 80 short of 80 people. Mother of 2, Rebecca Ikumelo, who was 33, and security guard Gabby Hutchinson, 23, were both caught up in a crush and later died in a hospital. Rohan said he witnessed what happened to both of them. An appeal was raised nearly £50,000 for the young sons of 33-year-old Rebecca Ikumelo, who died, as I mentioned. Gabby Hutchinson worked for a second security company called County Security as a specialist dog handler. And there's no suggestion that she was involved in taking bribes or letting people in without tickets. But Rohan explained how some guards working for his firm, AB Security, had allegedly been allowing music fans in without tickets. O2 Academy's license has been suspended for 3 months by Lambeth Council. The decision on Monday was made after a request by the Met Police, who are investigating the incident. Apparently, preempting the suspension, the owner of the venue, right, AMG, Academy Music Group, announced on Saturday that the doors would stay shut for 3 months while police investigated. The license had previously been suspended pending Monday's meeting. So yeah, if I find out more information, I shall keep you guys abreast.
I wonder how the third girl was going. There was 3 of them on.
Yeah.
There's been no word. I pray she's all right.
Yeah, hopefully she recovered. The next headline is, I feel like we've spoken about this, well, not the same case, but something similar in the past. And yeah, an emergency crew has had to smash down the wall of a flat during a 17-hour bid to rescue a 47-stone man, basically, a heart attack victim, yeah. Firefighters, paramedics, and police officers all worked together to help bring this man down from his first floor council flat in Acton in West London. Medics were called at around 2 a.m. on Friday, and after being treated in his bed at home, they had to call for further assistance to help get him out of the house. At around 9 a.m., fire crews had to knock down an outside wall, and then they built a plywood ramp and used ropes to hoist him onto a stretcher.
Oh dear, what a scene.
Mm-hmm. He was finally wheeled into the ambulance at around 8 p.m. before he was taken to a special ward at St. Mary's Hospital in Paddington. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, man.
Did he make it?
Yeah, I believe he did, yeah. But 47 stones.
What is that in kilo? I never understand stones.
But yeah,
It's a lot of kilos, I guess.
it is. And the last one is about Ron Jeremy, who is basically he's a former US adult star, right?
Oh, this is a trigger one.
Trigger warning, yes, yeah. Trigger warning, definitely. And he's been declared mentally incompetent to stand trial for alleged sex crimes.
Excuses.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you guys that at the end of this briefly, but Mr. Jeremy was indicted on 34 counts of sexual assault, including 12 of rape, over a period of more than 20 years. And the LA judge said on Tuesday that Mr. Jeremy could not face the charges as he was in a state of incurable neurocognitive decline. The 69-year-old has been in prison since his arrest in 2020, and he's obviously denied any wrongdoing and vowed to clear his name. He wasn't present at the latest hearing. Prosecutors said he attacked 21 women, like I said, who were ranged between the ages of 15 and 51 between the years 1996 and 2019. The alleged offences took place at bars and nightclubs in the LA area and also at Mr. Jeremy's home. He was first charged in 2020. Other allegations emerged, resulting in the indictment issued the following year through a grand jury. It was a similar tactic they used to get Harvey Weinstein as well. So court proceedings were suspended last year after Mr. Jeremy's lawyer said that his client had not been able to recognize him during a visit to his cell. Following the judge's declaration on Tuesday, the same lawyer told AP News Agency it's unfortunate due to his mental condition that he will not be able to go to trial and have the opportunity to clear his name. A hearing on whether to put Mr. Jeremy in a state-run hospital was set for next month. So yeah, like I was going to ask you, do you feel like this is just him making something up, or do you feel like...
Listen, I'll be honest with you. Even if it's real, yeah, I don't care. Lock them up. You and your memory loss get in jail. Every time you wake up and you've forgotten why it is that you're in jail, you'll be reminded of your crimes and it will come back to you. And when you forget again, they remind you. That is part of the torment because you can't... Nah, man. I feel bad for the victims.
Yeah.
He's just gonna get off and then they still have to live with the consequences of that.
Well...
Nope.
Because I was thinking about just doing a potential topic of the day based on this, yeah. Because I was just thinking, if he genuinely can't remember, he's literally just there sitting in himself thinking, what am I doing here?
Yeah, that's fair, but you still did it. You still did it. If there's evidence that you did what you did,
if there's
I don't
evidence
care
that
how
you've done
much you
it,
forget.
then you not being able to remember doesn't mean anything.
It's irrelevant because you still did it. And so what you're getting punished for, when people are called to justice for what crimes they've done, you're not called to justice for the crimes that you remember you've done.
It's
You're
what you've done
called to justice.
said person or said establishment or whatever.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So even if I don't care if this man had an accident and he was hanging on by the thread, he should spend the last thread of his life in jail. Nah, man, you don't get to just forget things and then what, get off. Nah, man. That's what I'm saying. There should be a book every time. I'm sure you remember to read. Every time you forget, there should be a newspaper article that reminds you of all the sins that you committed. That would jog your memory.
But then that's not really prison, though, isn't it? Like in terms of it being, offering a place of rehabilitation and also being punitive and stuff. Yeah.
How old is he?
Like he's 60.
You don't need rehabilitation.
69.
You don't. If you commit a crime post 50, you accept this is now it. This is what you're doing.
I get what you mean in that respect though, because if he doesn't remember and he's in prison, just confused to why he's there, then the point of prison is not served well on this individual.
Yeah,
because he has no idea why he's there. But to the victim,
It's serving his point.
he's locked away.
Yeah.
But even to the victim, you feel like they'll feel away that he doesn't remember. Like you don't remember the hurt you've caused me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because that in itself would be terrible in itself anyway.
Yeah.
How much more then you don't go to jail for that? I feel like
Yeah.
even if you don't remember,
At least go to
I feel
jail.
like with prison, because with prison, they say it's rehabilitation. It isn't. That's what is in the government books. It's not. It's really punishment to seclude you from the society because you committed this crime that is not allowed in society. So even if he doesn't remember, he might not be rehabilitated, but he's still being punished for the crime. For him not to remember what he's not doing, which is difficult for the victims as it is anyway, because they remember every bit of it, but then not be punished because he doesn't remember, that's 2 L's. That's ridiculous.
I don't want us to, obviously, because we haven't got much time yet, but I just wanted to say, you know, in the same way how people say, oh, this person's got dementia, they got Alzheimer's and stuff like this, they're not who they are. You know what I'm saying? They've forgotten everything.
Yeah.
Am I really dealing with this person?
Yeah.
They don't even remember their children.
Yeah.
Are you punishing
Yes.
the victim?
Yes.
Are you really punishing him?
Because you getting to forget is a luxury that I, as a victim, don't have. Your dementia, your Alzheimer's, I don't care what you forget.
Yeah.
You still did what you did. When you're alive and kicking, you use your alive and kicking, your freedom to do foolishness.
Yeah.
So now you will use the time that you're ill to suffer for the foolishness you did in your freedom. There's no illness. You could be dying of cancer.
That's different.
I don't care what it is that you're dying of. You will go and spend the time for the crime that you committed.
I think you're saying that they should still go to jail.
Yes.
Yeah, he's saying, is that person actually suffering? Because remember, if you don't know you've done wrong, and you have no recollection of it, then you're suffering more so because why am I here? That's your fight.
Yeah.
You're not suffering for the crime because you don't
No, but you know
remember
what
the
it is
crime.
though? I take any suffering. I take any suffering. If every time you come back into yourself, they say you're like, oh, why am I here?
Yeah.
You're in jail.
Yeah.
Why am I in jail?
Yeah.
The prison guard just shut the gate. I love that. Several times a day, run it. I'm here for it. Nah, it's still
I hate
suffering.
you. I do hate you.
Because wherever it is that takes you.
both of what you're saying is correct.
Yeah. So I think sometimes you can't, because you know what it is about life? Sometimes you can't get things the way you want to get it. So as a victim, you say I was a victim, I can't get justice in the way I want to get it. Like he's not suffering the way I would like him to suffer, but he's still suffering. Because you're still not surrounded by your family, you're still not in a care home, you're still not in a situation, in an environment that will usually help your Alzheimer's. So I will take whatever suffering I can get, but you will not be rolling free on account of memory loss.
Do you feel like the karma, I guess, of him forgetting his family, forgetting everything, is maybe justice enough?
No.
Okay.
Because there's people who are just lovely and loving and lived wholesome lives who suffer that illness as well. Some guy I follow I don't follow actually because it's just too sad content. But she, it wasn't TikTok, it was Twitter or something like that anyway. But her mum's got it as well. And it's just so sad. And like she documents that when she sees her mum and her mum forgets and then she reminds her mum and it's just so sad to the point now she was like, it's just so it's so emotionally draining and sad that she doesn't remind her mum anymore. She just says that she's a carer. And then sometimes her mum will actually remember her. And then sometimes her mum would, she's like, I'm just taking care of you kind of thing. And her mum will be talking about her child, which is obviously her. It's just so emotional, but...
Life.
How can you say justice enough that he's forgotten all of his loved ones?
No, I'm not saying that I believe that. I'm just saying like...
He
Yeah,
can't hurt off the back of stuff he doesn't know. Do you understand? It's not going to pain him because he can't remember them. But
true,
what I love is the opportunity to sit him down and show him all the stuff that
to remind him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Newspaper.
Yeah. If he's actually seeking knowledge, then I'll give him the knowledge. But innately, he might be one of them type of guys that when it is that he sees it.
Come back to memory, boy.
You'll still be vexed. You will still be. Wait. That doesn't make any sense. There was something in my head.
Because you know what it is
the type
there?
of man.
Yeah.
What I was saying is that they're a innate racist, right?
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Who you've committed a whole set of racism, a whole set of wicked acts, right? And you've been slammed up. You've forgotten everything. And then now you're told about this, and you're like,
that does sound like me.
yeah.
Do you know what's mad?
That kind of stuff you can't watch away.
Listen, and there's some
With
exactly
amnesia.
because you know what it is? I've seen like videos of people and even like care workers, like black care workers or like foreign care workers who work with people that actually have dementia and Alzheimer's. Some of them don't forget the racism.
No, yeah,
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, but hold on to that.
Yeah.
You don't
Everything
remember
else?
your family. You don't remember your children. You don't remember your partner. You don't remember anything. You
off
don't
me,
remember your
monkey.
name. Get off me. But you remember that. That's mad, man.
Hey, white people are something else.
Yeah. That is crazy. Well, no, Alzheimer's is sad, but
So many old white women move like that. You can't remember
anything.
Is that you, Betty? No, it's me, Phil. Mum, it's me, Phil. Oh, who's that black kid next to you?
Yeah. he smells like a nigger.
Do you know how mad that is? Nah, that's a different level, man.
You gotta respect me.
Like, I respect the commitment.
I'm telling you.
In sickness and in health, I respect that commitment. Damn. Get into the reaction, man.
Let's do it.
That was invitation came in.
Oh.
This Wednesday.
He wanted to top up. He wanted to top up.
All right. Let's start off with the FA Cup results.
The show is done, mate. This is the last bit.
So we got Forest Green Rovers 1, Birmingham City 2, and Liverpool back to winning ways, beating Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-0. So they are through to the next round of the FA Cup. Before I move on to the next headline, up the Arsenal. All right, that's why I put that in there. Up the Arsenal, up the Arsenal. You got sound effect for me? There you go. North London derby winners. All right, man charged with assaulting Arsenal keeper Aaron Ramsdale. A 35-year-old man has been charged with assaulting Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale after Sunday's North London derby at Tottenham. Joseph Watts, you prat, has been charged with assault by...
Name.
No, Joseph Watts.
Oh, I thought you
No,
prat.
I called him a prat.
Okay.
He's been charged with assault by beating, going on to an area adjacent to the playing area and throwing a missile on the football pitch. Did he do that? I thought he kicked him in the back. Maybe that's how it goes. Throwing a missile on the pitch after the Spurs 2-0 Premier League defeat. Are you sure this is the same guy? The video, Brent, the video that I saw was the guy kicking Ramsdale in the back, no?
Yeah, what is this that you put on the document?
Yeah,
saying that-
this is what they're saying.
It says assault by beating, going on to an area adjacent to the playing area and throwing a missile.
Right.
Onto a football.
Maybe he
playing
did that
area.
first, then went up to him and
Maybe.
kicked him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Watts of Hackney, East London, was charged on Tuesday and is due to appear at Highbury Magistrates Court on February the 17th.
That's it, all.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Also, fuck Richarlison as well, man. That pleb, bruv. He started the whole thing. Why is he pushing Ramsey on the head for?
He needs something.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. All right, Ratcliffe wants Man United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, company INEOS, has officially entered the bidding to buy Manchester United. Sky Sports News has confirmed a story first published by The Times that Ratcliffe, one of Britain's richest men, wants to complete the purchase of the Premier League giants. The Glazer family, United's current owners, announced in November they are willing to listen to offers for the club, a 17-year reign dominated by fan protest and declining on-pitch performances. INEOS, Ratcliffe's chemical firm, announced it had formally lodged interest with the Glaziers. Ratcliffe has made no secret of the fact he would be interested in buying United. He supported them as a boy and is understood to remain a fan. The 70-year-old billionaire was among bidders for Chelsea when their ownership came up for grabs after the start of Russia's war in Ukraine. As well as Ratcliffe, Saudi Arabia Sports Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Fazal has previously confirmed his country's intentions of taking over United. Valued at around $5 billion, technology giant Apple has been another reported interested party also. So yeah, that's the sports headlines there.
Oh, I just want to mention one last thing, if you don't mind. AJ, there's going to be talks between AJ and Franklin. I'm not too sure if you remember Dillian White's last fight.
Not
Fought an
really.
American guy who's got like dreads. Anyway, that guy.
Yeah. I think I do remember that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a close fight. Most people say Franklin beat him, to be fair.
Okay.
But Dillian got the decision. It's basically that guy who's going to be fighting. Well, they're talking now. Between Franklin and AJ fighting next.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Also, fuck Chelsea as well. I'm allowed to swear on here. Fuck Chelsea, man.
After many months, said I'm allowed to swear on it.
Nah, because I was pissed. I messaged Brendan. I was pissed I wasn't here on Monday, man, because I needed to get my shit off about the games and this whole Chelsea Mudryk thing. But
Yeah, Brent and Margs were definitely getting their shit off because boy.
yeah, but yeah, that's the sports, people. That's the sports.
Thank you very much. This is lovely record breaking. Let's get into our outro. Lovely people. Please like the video. I know there was a lot of situations, and I know you liked the first video before it went off, but like this one too. Don't be selfish. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you guys as always. Subscribe to the channel as well. Subscriptions growing. We'd love to see it. Join the community.thenewblack.com. Also follow us on social media as well. The day after TNB on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you want to send voice notes and text in asking for a friend, what would you do? All that great stuff. The number is 075-6484-1073. And if you would like to inquire about the show or feature on the show, you can email the team at thedayafter@thenewblack.com. I was actually meant to put a post on the community about the interview thing I said. So I'm going to do that. So if you would like to contribute and let us know who you would like to see on here, like for us to interview, I'll be putting up a post on the community.thenewblack.com, and open to all suggestions. If anyone says Dejan, then I'm going to block you. I have admin rights on there, right? If you say anyone's silly, try to talk, where's Gary Southgate, Max Brannon, I'm going to take you out of the community myself. What I'm going to do, and I'm not going to care. All right? All jokes go banter. See you guys tomorrow.
Later.
Peace.